Alright, what's up everyone? My name is Fit Like Sosa. I decided to make a YouTube channel created for vlogs, tutorials, and much more. So this is gonna be for absolute beginners only. If you've never done a handstand in your life and you've seen any of my videos or anyone else's videos and you're like in your mind, oh, I wish I can do that, or I want to do that, or I don't think I can ever do that. Wrong. And I've literally seen people 4 times my weight do a handstand. I've seen people 4 times my size do a handstand. I've seen babies do a handstand. There's no need to self-doubt yourself. That's why I'm here. All right. So as I said earlier, this is for the absolute beginning, as in you've never done a handstand in your life and you dream about doing one. Okay, so for those that already have handstands, wait for the next tutorial. I got you. So first things first, we want to talk about the wrist and how important are the wrist. We want to talk about your scapulas back here. If you don't know what those are, this what literally gives you the range of motions on your shoulder and be able to protract and hollow and get those nice protracted and hollow positions. All right, so for wrist exercises and wrist warm-ups being first, we're going to start with these. You're gonna have your hands in front of you and you're gonna flex them down just like this. Even get closer. Example. All right, now you can do circles to the left, circles to the right, doesn't matter. This is just to get the blood moving on your wrist and your hands. Okay. Another stretch we can do is you're gonna be on your fours. You're gonna have your fingers are gonna be facing behind you like this. For me, I usually have tight wrist, others don't. So if you have flexible wrist, you don't have to overdo it. But if you want more of a stretch, all you have to do is bend your elbows like this and then straighten them. And if you want more of a stretch, like getting them in your nerves or your subscap, you can just protract, push, protract, and retract, just like that. The next one is gonna be fingers pointing forward, like that. You're gonna have them right in front. You're gonna lean forward. You don't wanna crunch your wrist. So usually I like to have my biceps point forward, this right here. Forward, behind, forward, and that gives me a nice stretch on my wrist and over here as well. The next one we're going to do is fingers are going to try to point behind you, but not this way. They're going to internally rotate. So I usually do one at a time because of flexibility, and then I just sit back, that. I'm keeping active pressure on both of my wrists, and I'm trying to turn both of my hands back counterclockwise. All right, so once your wrists are warmed up, we're gonna do a little exercise to get your wrists stronger and your fingers stronger. So hardest position would be fingertip handstand. Intermediate position on fingertips would be push-up position, just like this. And then the easiest position for us is going to be on your knees right here, just like that. So what you want to do is just try to have less pressure on your knees, more pressure on your hands. You could even take fingers away, just like this. And we're gonna pick ourselves up using our fingertips, like this. So the goal here is to push down through your finger pads and your wrist. You don't want to use your flexibility and just do this. So this right here, wrong. Not really gonna benefit from doing this too much. You want to pick yourself up using your fingertips. If you can't, try to have more weight on your back towards your knees and you can even sit back a little bit. Eventually, you'll be able to get in a push-up position and go up to your fingertips and down and back up and down. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna talk about is your scapula. Your scapula are these right here. Watch my back. My scapula is pretty flexible, I know. Your scapula is gonna help you control your handstand a lot, and it's gonna give you the stability you need, just like your hands are, okay? We're gonna start with the push-up position. This one is called a plank. Most of you know what this is. Most of you have done them in gym classes, PE classes, or aerobics, or maybe even yoga. So you're gonna be flat right here. So you don't wanna sink down and let your scapula poke out. Your goal is to hollow through your sternum and suck in your lower ribs. You don't have to suck in your stomach, you just want to try to tuck in your lower ribs. I'll show you an exercise that we're going to do later to help you improve on your posture. So for the first step, we're going to hit the plank position, and you want to maintain that hollow shape, pushing through your back. Try to engage your lats if you can, as that can help you maintain and squeeze. That can help you maintain your posture. Alright, once you have figured that out, I want you to do just like a set of 10, just like this, up and down. The stronger your scapula, the more stability you're gonna have. So a lot of people don't know that. They think it's just like arm strength or just core strength. But like, if you wanna get all those presses and stuff, you wanna rely heavily on your scapula. Man, it is hot outside. So for another one that we can do, it's gonna be the same position, except we're gonna do it on our elbows. You wanna maintain that hollow body position. Push up, retract, push up, retract, push up, retract. For me, usually when I'm warming up, I do them for like 3 sets of 15, 3 sets of 10. You can start with whatever you want, whatever makes you feel comfortable. All right, so you guys are probably wondering like, what's a hollow body and how do you achieve one? All right, so if you lay on your back first, if I look like an egg later, it's because I boiled. I'm a fried egg. So I'm gonna lay down on my back, just like this. And my feet are gonna be laying down on the floor, feet next to each other. So usually, most people have a gap right under here on their lumbar. We wanna try to compress everything, and you want your entire spine on the floor. So you wanna rotate your pelvis and rotate your tailbone and point it to the sky. So that's gonna lift your legs and give you a slight pike, just like this. All right? The next one we're doing is gonna be hollow body on the floor. I'm going to try to round my upper back and tuck my tailbone and point my tailbone to the ground instead. So I'm gonna be laid down here. I'm gonna have my hands in front of me. Usually I like to go on fingertips. I keep my feet together, I keep them tight. And by hollowing, I'm gonna push down on my hands and my feet at the same time, and that should lift my sternum and my lower abs. Usually if I'm starting in the beginning of something, I'll warm up with those, or I'll have my student warm up with those, as they can be effective. Even like midway through the class, sometimes it's good to just go back to that if you feel yourself wobbling a lot. Your core is your structure of your body pretty much. So like from here to here is your core. That being said, when you stand, you're pretty much using your core. You don't know it because you're so well balanced, so you don't have to work it as hard, right? When you walk, you're pretty much using your core, you know. So if you lose your step, you use your core. If you're falling, use your core. If you didn't use your core when you walk, you'd probably be walking like this. I know sometimes when we handstands, we end up doing this, but it's fine. So with that silly demonstration that I just did, we all do use our core, and we all do have a core. So don't think so much of, I need a core to be able to do a handstand, I need muscles to be able to do a handstand. Just think about it as standing. It's this simple, okay? The only difference really is that you spend most of your life standing on your feet, and you haven't spent any time standing on your hands. And another thing could be is your feet are much larger than your hands. The next time you get a little motivated to do something, this is where we're gonna start with. I'm sure you guys are familiar with yoga. There's a lot of beneficial positions and body shapes you can do in yoga that will help you with handstands, like coordination, balance, and control. I don't necessarily teach yoga, nor do I coach yoga, but I have taken a few yoga classes. That does not make me a pro whatsoever. I've seen a lot of things that can really benefit, like hand strength and balance and a nice sense of straight equilibrium. One of the first easy ones is called a downward dog, and this is probably the best one that you can do if you want to feel a sense of going upside down a little bit without putting too much stress or strain on your body. We're gonna have both hands on the floor, and we're gonna have our hips up to the sky. So you can either have your feet close together or separated. So when you want to open your shoulders, try to open your shoulders a little bit, and then walk your feet forward if you can, and just try to go on your toes and try to put more weight onto your hands. But see, I don't have the flexibility for that. It's fine, don't worry about it. Just put your feet where you're comfortable at. You don't have to necessarily have your feet to your hands. So if your feet are all the way where the plank is, that's also fine. Just try to lean forward and try to get that push on your palms so you don't fall on the floor. So start here, walk your feet a little forward, just like this, and then try to lean onto your hands. So for this downward dog position, we're going to not focus more on the stretch, but more on transferring the weight from our feet and hips to our chest and hands. So we want to transfer our weight forward and get more comfortable holding our body weight on our arms. A little exercise you can do after that is just walk back from your plank and then walk forward. There are other positions you can do, like crow pose, frog pose, and crane, that will help you get used to balancing on just your hands only and having your hips up. And there are also other poses like forearm stance that you can do, but that's going to be more in the beginner section. Alright, so for those of you that are motivated and are going to get ahead of themselves, I'm going to give you an exercise that you can do at the park or at home or anywhere in the street. If you're somewhere and you're just bored and you want to practice, anything that has a ledge that you can put your feet on and is stable is a good place to start and practice handstands. So for this exercise, I'm going to change the camera. Alright, so here I have my bench. This is my object that I'm going to use. I know it's very sturdy and it's not going to let me down. The purpose of this goal is to elevate your hips up. The higher you have your hips, the more weight you'll have on your arms and the stronger you will be for the future. So we can do this two ways. We can start, if it's high enough, we can start with having our knees onto the floor. You want to have your hands and your index fingers pointing forward the whole time, just like this. You can do this on a couch as well, and all you're going to do is try to protract your body and have more weight onto the hand. So this is going to be the very, very, very easy version as I'm on my knees. The harder position is going to be with my feet on the platform. So I'm gonna slide over a little bit so you can see. I'm in my straddle position, that way I can spread out my weight. You can walk your hands forward to make it a little easier, and you can walk your hands back to make it a little harder. If you're getting tired, just come down. Try not to push it because you don't want to collapse onto the floor. Okay? So like I said earlier, don't get ahead of yourself. Just take your time. Ultimately, it's your journey, it's nobody else's. In the long run, you are going to get this, and don't feel bad when things are a little hard. So I'm going to end the video shortly. One last tip I want to give you guys is do not rush your handstands. If you want to jump to the next step, make sure the step you're on is solid. Make sure your foundations are solid. Do not rush your handstands. So with all that, I hope you've learned something today. Drop down in the comments what you want me to do next, or if you find it helpful for you. My name is Fit Like Sosa. That's what I go on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever platform I'm on, it's Fit Like Sosa. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.